Welcome to another edition of XFeed. My name is The Schiller. From Monday through Friday, we talk about the space that is NFTs, Web3, all that kind of stuff that you don't want to talk to your friends and family, because why in the hell would you do that? Anywho, a whole bunch of news coming out today regarding different things regarding Yuga and what they're doing with Dookie Dash. We got when marketing that's hanging out in here. What's going on? We have some massive news on one of the biggest faces in the entirety of Web3 is completely gone. They're out of here. They're struck out, and we're going to go in all of those details. Appreciate you guys hanging out for the stream today. Let's get into it. Imagine being a normal person and reading any tweet here. True, if you classify as a normal person, be aware that the following is PG-13. Well, not actually. It's just probably weird as shit. Anywho, the studio led for Midnight Society, Dr. Disrespect's game developer, appears to have responded to the recent allegations made against the streamer. Robert Bowling saying, "I'm now aware and I'm dealing with it." For anybody that doesn't know what happened, basically, well, first of all, this is about Dr. Disrespect, and if you don't know who that is, it's a very large video game streamer who was partnered on Twitch, and kind of out of the blue, he had that canned, and everybody didn't know why. There was this huge mystery around it, and the other day it came out, and allegedly what had happened is that he was talking to like a minor, trying to meet up with them at like a TwitchCon, and TwitchCon is just kind of an event if you're familiar with Comic-Con or some kind of event. It's one that streamers go to, and it's kind of a place for fans to meet streamers and whatnot. And I don't know if there's been any evidence around this, but it's caused quite a stir. Dr. Disrespect has denied those allegations. Nick Merckx and I believe Tim the Tatman have made videos saying like they don't believe this has happened, but obviously there's a lot of kind of gray area within this. And so one of the big studios within Web3 is one of the ones that's partnered for Midnight Society. And as of a couple hours ago, they apparently decided to terminate their relationship with him. On Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy Beham, aka Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved. And in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy Beham immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, specifically the 55 developers and families we have employed, along with our community of players. Yo, Steph, what's going on? Go Oilers. Hell yeah. So, as you can see, this is massive news. Now, you might have a specific take of, oh, he's innocent, oh, he's absolutely guilty. And further to this, today, and this isn't necessarily an admission of guilt, but he said, like, I'm burnt out, I'm done with streaming, and so I think he's taking a break. But the big component of this is within the Web3 space, there's been very few good actors, and I feel like this is kind of an awkward conversation around good actors within the space, but referring to some things like Jason Derulo, that we'll go into in a minute, where they're like pumping out these scam coins and saying, yo, go buy this on the timeline and getting community noted. I think Dr. Disrespect is arguably the biggest name of anybody that's touched something within Web3 and specifically Web3 gaming. And so this is a huge hit because we go from, hey, this is a game that's backed by Dr. Disrespect to, okay, this is like a blockchain game shooter. And all of the space is, if you go on the timeline, if you watch the show, this entire everything is based off of narratives that people have. So I think this is a massive blow, and we'll see what happens to the NFTs. Obviously, the studio is going to keep on kicking here, but yeah, in terms of marketing, that is a huge blow. Now, some positive news. If you bought a Pudgy Penguin 2 days ago, you'd be up 2 ETH or almost $10,000. Canadian, of course. Imagine that. Unbelievable. If you don't know exactly what happened, we'll get into some of those details momentarily. Now, some for you OGs out there, do you remember the water token? If I say that, some of you might be like, shill, what the hell? And then some of you might be like, wait, isn't that Zen NFT with the bonsai trees? Oh yeah, they were supposed to drop a water token. I think at the time I had like a gold tree or something insane and actually sold it for a little bit. There was people that were talking about how the little the bug on here was left facing, and those ones were the rare ones. Those were the glory days. And this was one of the original collections that said, hey, as an NFT, we were going to do a token. And they're not doing the token, but ZachXBT is highlighting that there is apparently a water token. It's a meme coin on Solana, and there's a bunch of influencers that are kind of scamming behind it. Another day and another kind of Keck W story. But, you know, do you guys remember Zen NFT? Apparently they're doing drinks with Sankura Sunset. Now, speaking of other kind of random celebrity things that have been going on, 50 Cent deleted all of his tweets after launching a Solana meme coin. I don't know if these celebrities are reached out to somebody, if they're trying to get into the space, if they actually need money, or what the hell is going on. Dylan Dennis saying that 50 Cent's a damn liar, and I don't even give that guy credit for absolutely anything, but now he's in the space trying to do something. We have Tiffany Gomez, who's the person that was the big meme about the, you know, invisible person in the back saying, y'all, what are these meme coins or tokens that everyone is hitting me up about? Now she's getting into the space, or at least engagement farming off of it. What the hell is going on to the space that we love? And Jason Brink here from Gala Games saying, I'm delighted to announce that I have sponsored our Web3 arcade cabinets from Valley Ecosystem for the Gala Chain ecosystem, and I have no idea what the hell that is. It's got like 33 followers, so this is brand new. I'm guessing it's a physical arcade that's somehow connected to the blockchain, but we're going to call it Phygital, right? Right. Some very, very interesting news here, or at least not news per se, but the market news, if you will. If you look at NBA Top Shot, the debut for Caitlin Clark, $270 US. And then you look at this, what is it? Signed Bowman rookie card. My face is in the way, but it's $140 right now. With a couple of bids on that, and that is great. But the point being is that the Top Shot moment is actually more expensive than the physical card, and it's taken a while, but guys, we're back. We're back. Or maybe not. So, same TXX here has this huge thread. I'm not going to go through all of it, but the first part here says, Dear friends, I'm ending sharing information and news about NBA Top Shot and Dapper Labs. I will no longer share the posts that I have shared for the informational purposes for about 1.5 years. So, it goes on about, like, them not supporting and, like, these other things, and there's a whole bunch of comments about people saying, no, don't go, like, we love your content, etc., etc., but it goes to like this notion of like Top Shot not doing kind of the right thing or supporting certain community members. Now, for anybody that's been following for a while, like the whole reason that I do this is because I guess like kind of grew up being a streamer for Top Shot in the inception days when everything was going really, really crazy. And I remember like I posted this big post about how I was like the first streamer that was associated with Top Shot to get partnered. And I thought like it was a cool deal, and like Roham liked it and that kind of jazz. But there was really never anything extra that was offered as someone that was doing, 7 to 8 hour streams essentially per day covering this topic. Now, they did have a referee program that we kind of helped volunteer time with, but that was completely separate for content. And at the time, when they had those earlier queues, when you had to wait hours to get a Top Shot pack drop, they used to set up streams with different people that were in like the content space. And like, I never got asked to do any of those kind of things. And it's, it goes to like this notion of them wanting to go with like the bigger glitz and glam versus kind of like the homegrown in that aspect. And so, I don't know, it feels a little weird, but again, Top Shot's going to be keeping on Top Shot. And Mr. Jeremy, what's going on, brother? How are you doing? You go outside today? It's friggin' piping hot out there. Crypto Insider saying, hey fam, personally, I do not invest in or promote projects with anonymous teams. That's all I want to bring up on here is, remember when we used to have the arguments of, okay, does it matter if a team is doxed versus anonymous? And this was like genuinely something you would see on the timeline almost every single day, early days in 2021. And now nobody ever talks about it. And I don't know if that's because all the teams are now transparent and out there. Not exactly sure. So there's a very interesting discussion here where Yatsiu from Animoca Brands is on this guy's podcast, and he says, if we believe billions of people will be in Web3, they'll want to own the artifacts of their time, meaning that a Bored Ape's value should be priceless. And so this is an interesting argument in a time where I think a lot of us kind of dog on NFTs in general, say, why isn't there utility for these certain things? They're not moving on close enough. There is a big historical aspect to what's going on, but I think that it's not really been portrayed. I think to use it as as kind of like a weird example, I was watching on Netflix. There was a documentary on Wembley Stadium, and it was between Italy and England, and they documented the chaos that happened, the people that broke through, all the stuff that was behind the scenes. I don't know how the hell they got all this footage and put it back together, but it was really, really well done. And it made me be like, damn, okay, I appreciate that history. I understand it. That would be cool to have like an artifact from that match or something, because, you know, again, that document they put together was awesome. There isn't that for like anything within Web3 right now. And sorry, I should say, for example, like DC Roth, if you've seen, he's done Pudgy Penguins videos. He's done them on Featureverse. He did a Bitcoin Ruins one that we watched. And, you know, for that one, I was a little bit confused still at the end of watching it. But he actually had, you know, a very, very solid breakdown for 10 minutes going over the history of things and showing the, like, this is what it was like when you were early or a part of things and kind of how it came. And I feel like we don't have that within the space, but very interesting take here from Yatsui about just saying, hey, people are going to want the artifacts of this age. Because right now there is virtually zero talk about the, oh my goodness, I'm getting a call. Zero talk about the historical NFTs right now. 1 second. All right. So talking about inflation here, and sorry, Jeremy. Work was like standing in an oven. Okay, listen, man, my man, we got to get you out of there, brother. We got to get you out of this, man. This man's cooking out there. We got to get him a fan. Got to get him an AC unit. Come on, we're in 2024. Where the hell is the technology at? Okay, so this is from Balaji, who is the one that made like the bet saying that Bitcoin was going to $1 million within like 3 months. And that obviously did not happen whatsoever. But it's interesting here, for any of you guys who like McDonald's, the price increase from the end of 2019 to 2024 for the medium French fries is 134%. For the McChicken, 201%. On the Big Mac, 87%. And then going down to Taco Bell, the beefy 5-layer burrito up 118%. It's crazy out there, and it's something that, like, when you're growing up, you're a kid, you don't really see all these things, and now as an adult, I'm like, holy shit, we're paying a ton for a Big Mac, baby. Okay, so listen, on the topic of, like, really weird things that are going on here, I don't really know who this guy is, but I guess he's going to go for some kind of governmental thing in the EU, but they were talking about how they were going to force younger people to serve like their country regarding like military service or whatever. And he like flat out says, we're going to like cut off bank accounts, remove like driver's license, et cetera, et cetera. And like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, that is terrifying to hear. That is absolutely terrifying to hear. And I feel that, again, in like the early days, there was all this talk of like, hey, you know, this whole like crypto thing, this like leaving the system is this like attempt at being aware of like the surroundings, and that thing just made me be like, oh my God, is that actually true? Could that ever happen? Would that ever happen? And then it goes back to the bank account, but everybody needs that to live. So, you know, you're left in this like confusing world where we have all this information. We don't know if it's right. We don't know if it's wrong, but we're just kind of following along and hope that we can survive it all. Now, I wanted to highlight something that hasn't been talked about in a while, and that is the fact that Coinbase and Binance absolutely rip tokens if they get listed. We had Pirate Nation that came out and immediately got listed on Coinbase. I don't know if they got listed on Binance, but the questions now are around Blast. For the Blast TGE, does it come out and immediately get listed similar to ApeCoin and Pirate Nation? And those valuations go crazy. People feel rich, and we see a little bit of a spurt within the NFTs or crypto market. Is all that money strictly stuck on Blast or Blur? Even though, I mean, Blur is kind of the ETH side, but now they have the Blast, et cetera, et cetera. So again, just keep an eye out, because we might see a lot of listings from these different exchanges, and that could move some markets that we don't know how. Now, some news regarding Pudgy Penguins. We opened the show talking about how they were up like $2,000 or so, or sorry, it was, let me rephrase, almost $10,000 Canadian in a couple of days. Why is that? A fresh wallet deposited 1,069 ETH or 3.75 mil an hour ago and bid on all 110 penguins on Bendao for 8.8 ETH. So a big whale stepped in, stopped the liquidation, gave some confidence back, and people are flying. Now, was this potentially in the front running of news, as Igloo Inc. is announced the parent company to Pudgy Penguins and Overpass IP. Our mission is to create the largest on-chain community driving the consumer crypto revolution. Igloo Inc. was formed to create an end-to-end ecosystem for new people to come into crypto non-dilutively. Very interesting verbiage. However, our desire for crypto adoption is not predicated on the fluctuation of crypto assets, but rather on pushing the boundaries of the on-chain experience. Pudgy Penguin serves as the brand that will be on the top of the funnel to our ecosystem. Penguin's unique position allows us to create an emotional attachment to a brand that people are familiar with and trust. Overpass IP aligns collectors with the brand through licensing. Today, our vision for creating an everlasting ecosystem is not in its finality. Over the coming months, we will complete this loop as we make another push towards realizing our vision of creating an end-to-end user experience to push crypto to the masses. We'll see if they're able to succeed. Now, talking politics a second ago. Well, apparently, if you're the political meme coin space, you're doing phenomenal. Political meme coins are catching a bid ahead of the June 27th presidential debate, just as I predicted on May 30th, well ahead of everyone else. PolitFi is currently a $1.1 billion category. At least one political meme coin will be worth more than the entire category is now by November, in my opinion. And it's showing the MAGA hat, MAGA, Joe Biden. And something that's super strange is there's something different about the meme coin crowd here. Hopefully there's nothing weird in my notifications. Okay, there's not. So, as an example, I have no idea, and to be totally truthful, over the weekend, past couple of days, we'll call it, zero action on my Twitter, like, whatsoever. Like, obviously, from, like, likes, comments, whatever, but in terms of following, nothing. I woke up today, and the whole day, almost every hour on the hour, I'm getting a follow. And, like, looking at these accounts, we have crypto NFT domains. Okay, that's kind of random. Designer with like 76K, whatever. This one's a backup account of an NFT demon. This one's a Solana ecosystem. It's called Soul Token Creator. This one is Bored Cats. That's, I think, an NFT for whatever Swipey Cats is. Pixel Soars, which is the immersive world of Pixel Soars. Consumer Break, which is a Twitch streamer. It's talking about Wax. Pro Pixel NFT. Just an NFT person, and then this other thing that's something to do with like DeGods. Okay, why am I bringing this up? It's like, I don't know where these accounts come from, but if you look at them and then like I go to my message requests, they're asking for like promos or like these other weird things. I'm like, well, what the hell is this? I've never heard of any of you before. We're not following any of the same people. I kind of like only tweet about Futureverse, and then we do like these shows where we cover the space as a whole, and so like I guess it's kind of weird that way. But it's like, is everybody just trying to look for something to promote? How many of these things are legit? All of them seem kind of, first time literally hearing about them and they're popping up. Like, it seems like there's all these people that are trying to do different things in the space, but like how many of them are actually sustainable versus trying to just like keep up with like the hype, which is something we've been trying to watch for, right? Okay, so this is maybe the craziest clip you guys will ever hear. So this is, just to get my thing right, Colin Hertzley, the new leader of Moonbirds, answering the question about why you should buy a Moonbird.
Anything? I mean, the short answer is it's like I can't tell you if this is for you or not. Like you got to decide that. I know that we love having everyone here, so we're not going to actively tell anyone to leave, but that's kind of whatever follows each person's journey. All I know is that we're working on this new Moonbirds journey, and we're pretty excited. We're pretty pumped, and we are actively working on stuff. We've got a bunch of stuff that's happening right now. And one of the things that we talked about in the first call, is just like, we're not going to talk about things until we have something ready to ship, right?
Okay, so the last part of that, I would generally agree with the whole notion of like you kind of have like one shot at things, and we've seen like a lot of collections really hold back, and then like the release absolutely has to hit. But like asking that question and the first thing saying, well, I mean, I don't know, like you got to decide if you want to leave or not. What the hell kind of confidence instilling is this? And then immediately following that, I don't know if my timeline just knows that I'm like looking at Moonbird stuff, because every time I bookmark something for the show, I get a slew of random tweets. Sheba King here saying, all future Moonbirds community spaces by me are canceled. I can't seem to align with the team. Main core team members disappearing for months, and the main account has less traction than Ryan Carson's Twitter. We are losing core community members left and right and still can't get our demands addressed. Yuga has a big problem, and it starts with Yuga's leadership. Now, to be fair, I feel like this is a lot of different of the top NFT collections right now, people questioning different things. But for the people that are hardcore into it, again, if you know how to communicate and communicate good, there is absolutely a Web3 position out there for you. So I've been talking about the narratives and things regarding yield, where there's a difference between, we'll call it like the digital artifacts, art in general, versus something that's digitized that gives any sort of yield. And so I saw this post and I thought it's safe to bring it up here. It says, mildly tempted to try and trade my CryptoPunk for 10 meme land captains or 3 Bored Apes. Maybe I just want to feel alive again. Now, on face value, this is kind of like, okay, this is whatever, but I mean, for the meme land captains, I'm pretty sure that they earn the meme tokens, and for Bored Apes, again, they earn the ape token. For CryptoPunks, they technically earn nothing, and they're just trading at whatever value it is. So is it a social status? Do you care about the yield? What's the different kind of talkative points within that? But interesting to see, because again, we saw somebody way back in the day that sold like a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape. It was a CryptoPunk, I think, for like 200 alien friends, or I forget what it was, like space aliens. It was one of those collections. It wasn't alien friends, but it was another one, and that turned out horrifically. Lil Moon Lambo is saying, hey bro, super excited to see Dog with Hat on the Sphere, Las Vegas Sphere. Donated quite a bit to that campaign. LOL. Anyways, yeah, my bag is down pretty bad, so I was just curious when that was going to happen. Do you think everyone in Vegas will buy it? Anyways, the hat stays on. Haha, let me know. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of crazy when Dog with Half was going crazy, and that shows, right? For anybody that lived through the Pepe run or the Dog with Hat run, people feel rich, and so they'll just throw money at whatever, which is what happened before, again, because crypto went higher, people felt, hey, we can spend on things, and that's kind of, I think, what helped out with the ETH NFT bull run. Now, when people start feeling rich again, do they go back to the NFTs? What's the thoughts around it? Adam Cochran saying, within 1 year, the Pudgy Penguin ecosystem will be $5 billion plus and primarily driven by non-blockchain users and other IP holders. Now, I mean, I would make the argument and quote tweet this and say future first, but hey, listen, we're not going to push the narratives today. It's not about flipping to PFP, and those who can't see that yet have clearly not been paying attention. And I kind of agree with this, though, is the aspect is that they're really trying to do something that's beyond just the limits of within Web3 right now, because for the most part, we haven't had anything that great going on with it. And speaking of things that are that great, you guys remember Jason Derulo? This is his latest X post.
Hey, what's up, people? Listen, the bullshit that happened today in the crypto space was absolutely crazy. I apologize to everybody affected, but now, I'm making it my life's goal to take this shit to the moon. So if you with me, let's go.
What are we doing? Why are we saying this? What the hell is going on? Jason Derulo. All right, now we got Ronaldinho, okay, that was also posting about stuff yesterday. Oh, never mind. That's super small text. I thought this was going to be a huge one. But back in 21, he's talking about Atari Chain creating a thing. There's these posts about him being deep in trouble. He deleted the post after Zach XBT railed into him here. But again, another celebrity trying to do something with a meme token. I mean, the retail all think that they're just going to get rich off buying these things. Well, yeah, because it's happened for a few of them. But does that happen for most? Absolutely not. So here's something we can argue about. This post is from Mickey saying the biggest Web3 growth hack. Stop trying to force people how to feel. Instead, they should be given all the data so they can make their own decisions. We spend millions on key opinion leaders for this very reason, to give Web3 users an unbiased, unfiltered opinion in their native tongue. And so they have a precisely identified target audiences with a couple of tags and then collections. So let's see what you think. So under gaming, DeFi, and CPG collectors, there's Bored Apes, Pudgy Penguins, and Moonbirds. So, I mean, for gaming, it feels like Yuga's trying to get out of that aspect. Besides other side, have they been successful with it? Would you buy into them at the valuations they are? I mean, other deeds are pretty inexpensive. But to buy these, there's not really a reason to buy those different collections within there. Same for the Pudgy Penguins. And I might be wrong with this, but I don't think there's actually any games that are live right now with them. And for Moonbirds, they don't have any games, period. So what the hell is this? And then like for DeFi, Pudgy's doesn't have a token. Bored Apes are coming out with a chain eventually. Moonbirds have nothing. I don't know what CPG Collectors is, so apologies that I'm a fish. But like, okay, so none of that fits their recommended groups to push in our network. Like, that's insane. So the next one's Art Connoisseurs, Fine Art, and Web3 Art Collectors. And they show Invisible Friends, which I don't think anything's happened with that collection in a hot minute. But I mean, arguably, okay. The art's cool. Doodles, okay, sure. Again, they do a lot of cool artistic things. The music side, whatnot. Proof, yep, they definitely had a lot of things regarding art, fine art specifically, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, seems kind of weird. And then for infrastructure, onboarding of the masses and tokens, they have Illuvium, Neo Tokyo, and then I don't know what this last one is, but like, I mean, Illuvium, IMX, and some of this other stuff, any of those collections, why the hell wouldn't they be at the top? So the people writing this post of, hey, who are we directing to who, don't even know what they're talking about. The space is insane. Now, just some, mental well health being here, because apparently that's all over the timeline. You spend most of your time inside your head. Make it a nice place to be. Yo, true. Listen, you're heading out, feeling kind of bored later. Think of happy thoughts. You know what I mean? Have some wag me vibes. And you might just feel a little bit better. Loopify here showing some things that's going on with their Treeverse builds. Again, I think this will be a very interesting game. We have a lot of top quality ones coming out. But to the notions earlier, again, some of these launches kind of have one shot, one opportunity to change the world. So I'm expecting some big announcements across all these chains, all these games that are launching, et cetera, et cetera. Expect things to get crazy. Now, Super Nifty here is a very, I'd call it smaller, not in a bad way, but just like a smaller known artist within the space that builds really cool 3D avatars in a way, and they just announced that they're moving over to Magic Eden. And so on Friday, I was kind of like, who the hell is going to Magic Eden? We haven't seen anything since those bigger ones. It seems kind of but specifically talking about the honoring of creator royalties. So this is kind of the first time that I've seen something that's more of like a smaller homegrown artist decide that they're moving their collection over to Magic Eden. So does this start an avalanche? Potentially. Okay, Maple Story Universe, which is a blockchain game now, apparently has an unbelievably long list of restricted regions. Very curious to see how this plays out across the space as a whole. Is this something that happens often? Is this something that doesn't happen often? But they have Afghanistan, Algeria, Austria, Bangladesh, Belgium, Bolivia, China, Croatia, Crimea, Cuba, Cyprus, Dominican Republic, Greece, Latvia, not going through all of it, Netherlands, Poland, Singapore, United Kingdom, United States. Canada's not on here. Woo! Okay, so we're good. But the point being is that there's still like a huge kind of regulatory overshadow that games, collections, whatever, are still geo-blocking because of it. So at some point, hopefully this ends up changing. So Far Away here with an update regarding Dookie Dash, which again, this was something that was supposed to be out a little bit ago. There's supposed to be a lot of extra fun things to go with it, but obviously everything in Web3 takes a little bit of time. So Dookie Dash Unclogged is officially live in 6 countries. This is a massive first step, but we still have more work to do. Like the sewers, we are constantly running into shit that makes us realize we need to up our game for the normies. We've added new game modes, new content, new prizes, and that's just warming up. I mean, I kind of agree with the aspect that they need to do more with it, because just running through the sewers, I get there's various games like Candy Crush that are kind of the exact same thing over and over again, but it does, I mean, just running the same course, I don't know. Right now, it's safer to say that we're looking at full-fledged release closer to the end of this summer, so still a couple months to go. We know this is a bummer, but we promise you any delays are a direct result of our need to ensure this game sticks hard. You also been waiting patiently, and while we can't put Curtis in your pocket just yet, we want to share a little bit of what we're working on and what's taking so long. So these are just some videos. I don't want to go through the whole thread because it's probably kind of long. But if you guys haven't seen what Dookie Dash looks like, this is just on your phone. You can see the thumb on the bottom is just moving the character. And then you like double tap to make it go quicker. So again, this is kind of Yuga Labs' big push at mainstream adoption. Obviously, there's other side, but with mobiles, apparently they're like top 6 in the United Kingdom right now for mobile games with that, which is kind of interesting. Now, Garga also making this and saying you only get one shot at a worldwide launch for a mobile game. So that first touch has to be really specific and frictionless. We're hellbent on Dookie Dash getting on millions of phones and putting Yuga and BYC into everyone's pocket, which this goes back to the notion that we talked about earlier about the history, right, of people wanting that asset. Sure, there's the historical nature that Yatsui was talking about, but maybe there's games or other things that people just actually fall in love with the IP, because there's been very few things for that to happen, again, across the whole space, but also for Yuga. So while the game is live in a couple of countries with reduced features for testing, there's a lot of tuning and new features for Dookie Dash that we're working on, all with the goal of making sure that the game is a blast, not just for apes, but for people who have never touched crypto and know nothing about BYC. So yeah, we need a little more time for worldwide launch, but we're putting a ton of muscle behind our goal, be the #1 game on the App Store. Guys, what is the #1 game on the App Store right now? If we were going to look at that, let me go check. Apps. To go like free to play, iPhone Essentials, top free apps, dating essentials, made in Quebec, popular apps, stream it now, how this week, summer fun for kids, apps you might like. Where the hell is the games section on this? Best productivity. Oh, here we go. Hold on. I got games now. We're good. Okay. So, oh my God. These are just like ads. Oh, top free games. So Brawl Stars, Last War Survival, and 3 Block Blast, which I've never heard of any of those except for Brawl Stars. Oh, Last War Survival's that one with the ad where there's like the character walking and then he like shoots through like a barrier. You guys have totally seen it if you look up Last War Survival. But I've heard of Brawl Stars before. And then in terms of top paid games, it's Minecraft and then Heads Up, which is like the one when you hold your phone, you do that thing, and then Geometry Dash. So remember this. One day will we see Dookie Dash on the top of the timeline. Now there's a little bit of FUD here, but food for thought. Yuga Labs raised $450 million and has made a clunky game called Dookie Dash of apes racing through shit-filled sewers. And it looks worse than a 90s indie flash game. It's wild that these companies raise so much money and can't hire one person capable of saying, no. Now, I don't know about that one. I think that if you have a game that's fun, there was a lot of people that did like it, and you might not have, but I think that's the problem within the Web3 space is there was a lot of us, myself included, that we like the ideas of something, and then when it comes to fruition, you're kind of like, like Bored Apes and the very much emphasis on like the sewers, the poo, the like random, like, I don't know, uncleanliness type deal. Is like I didn't really think that was like the brand image when originally we started out being, this top of the line, trying to work with like Gucci and having high end, and then at the same time trying to have this like weird note. It doesn't really like fit the bill for it or whatever, right? But the idea is that a lot of these brands are trying to do several different things. So if you don't like one component of it, that's totally fine. Maybe you like another one. But it's kind of hard to see when you have one thing that you really, really dislike, which kind of felt like that. Like, hey, he hates Dookie Dash. But again, there's all those other aspects that are coming too. But the auction is still going on for Sotheby's. And within this, they have kind of the estimate bids of what these are going to go for. Again, the bids are insanely low, but for like the other deeds, there's thinking that it's going to sell for like $300 to $500. And it's actually insane to think about how much was spent on that other side mint initially. Now, here's your hopium of the day from Johnny. We are at the stage of the market where people will start losing conviction. Very much see that in the different discords that I'm a part of. Giving up, selling all their bags, and trying to gamble on new meme coin launches that rug 99% of the time. Jason Derulo. The best thing to do right now is nothing. Sit tight, wait for the real ride to begin. To zero or Valhalla? That is the question. So Journey Crypto here with a post saying our recent ApeCoin AIPs passing. We are now working on material to further utilize the Journey gallery and help bring crypto and NFTs to the masses. So I have a genuine question. Would you want to go and see an gallery of a bunch of NFTs hung up on the wall? Now this is showing an other side ship container, which we have no idea what it's for. Pixelmon with a couple different characters. Shout out Manga Larga if you end up watching. Again, if you haven't heard the Pixelmon CEO talk and you like having strong opinions within the space, actually very much enjoyed listening to him the few times that I have. And thank you, Manga Larga, for sending along those videos. But I don't know if I'd care about that. So is it kind of cool if I'm like in the area visiting or something? There's like, yo, let's go to the NFT gallery. Sure. But I don't know if we're at that stage just yet. And here's kind of a cool thing of a parallel card rip. If you guys haven't seen, Parallel does have physical cards too, apparently, which is something that I thought they might be in like production, but I didn't realize they were already out there as of right now. And of course, forget we do love cards with the Pokemon. Hell yeah, brother. So quick little showcase of that. I think that's really neat. And then final thing to leave you with here is I'm not going to play the whole clip here because I've been DMCA'd on some things and it's just like, okay, dude. But Michael Saylor was talking about going all in on Bitcoin. And he basically made this reference of saying, well, you're sitting on one chair, you're looking at one screen, you have one microphone. Do you trust that or do you need 10 microphones? And that was his response about diversifying. And I was like, damn, you know what? Not too shabby. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for coming on through. Hope you guys found something insightful, trying to cover a little bit everything from the world to the crypto side to the NFT side. All these good things. Mr. Jeremy Smith, thank you so much for coming through. Steph, enjoy the game tonight with the Oilers and when marketing, when.